But if you're 25 and you're still going to spring break acting a fool, then I can't help. When you're pregnant, that is the time to eat whatever you want, act like a princess, sleep whenever you want, whatever you want.
My labor with my first was bananas, and I was in labor with her for 21 hours.
I'm writing the book of life for them. What is it that they're going to tell their friend?
Marriage is a covenant. It's not a contract.
God is never going to give you somebody else's husband.
All right. Oh, baby, baby.
Oh, baby, baby. Welcome to the pickup line.
Welcome to the pickup line.
All things baby today.
All things baby. All things that come with having a baby.
Yeah, I should have wore pink like you. Like what?
This isn't really pink.
It's babyish. I'm like a motorcycle mom. Like, yeah.
I'm like a mom that just had a newborn. That's what I look like today.
All my graffiti, all my whatever. We're here.
Rock on.
Yes, but let's talk about having babies and how that thing has changed. I've been seeing all over socials, baby showers and people having babies, lots and lots of girls. It's very, very exciting, but very different from when I had a baby.
Well, you're going to be hosting a baby shower very soon.
Yes, I am.
Because you're going to be what do you want to be called?
Grandma.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Because some people like Mimi, Nana,
that's
Nanny.
Too much. That's too much.
Whatever. Yeah.
That's too much. I'm grandma.
Okay.
I don't care. I'm not into the, my sister has a name. She's Gami. Mama's Gigi. I'm grandma.
That's it. Gigi. That was what I was trying to think of. Gigi's cute.
I'm grandma.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, grandma. So when you've been doing your research, what did you find?
I just think it's so different than when I had a baby. I mean, when I had a baby, I told you, we would pack up and it would be looking like Coming to America. I would have pack and plays. And I'm like, my baby ain't getting that bed. Ain't nobody touching my baby. I had nets for the bassinet and the strollers. And oh yeah, my babies were on lockdown because I just didn't want anybody touching my baby. Like I literally stayed home 30 days after each baby. 30 days I didn't leave my house.
For 30 days you didn't leave your house?
For 30 days I did not leave my house. I stayed in the house for each baby.
I really don't remember how long I stayed home. I want to say maybe 4 to 6 weeks I stayed home. Mm-hmm. But I was the same way. I didn't want anybody, like I was super particular about like who was touching the baby. And then we have a friend who, when she was in labor and having her babies, she like made sure the room was dark and certain incense, like different essential oils were burning.
She seems like she would have had like a water birth. Like she was just so into it that she would have been like, oh, I can have a doula and a water birth. Yeah. I'm like, no, baby, give me an epidural. And I stood like this with that epidural. I was like, I'm not moving. But I had my hair pulled back like I do right now. All things in a bun. My hair was in a bun. I had my mascara on.
Always.
And I had some lip gloss.
Required. Those are 2 requirements.
That was it. I had, and I think when I had D, we weren't allowed to wear nail polish. I think it was like clear nail polish or something. My nails were clear. Remember, it wasn't like acrylics and everything. I didn't have any acrylics on when I had D. I did when I had Mariah and Gracie. But again, I'm on this challenge, ladies and gentlemen. I've taken my nails off.
Yes.
It's been 2 weeks.
Good job.
Because they have not been off since COVID. And it's crazy because my daughter-in-law was like, I took mine off too.
Oh, I'm going to take mine off too. I feel like we need to let our nails breathe. I feel like it just
she's doing it because of the baby.
Oh yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
that's how you know she's a first time mom too.
Oh my God, I looked at Cardi B and I was like, girl, are you having a baby with those nails? Like that was crazy. But I mean, I'm sure she has a host of nannies. Like, but she's probably used to it. You know what I'm saying? She's probably used to maneuvering with her nails.
I don't know how people use those, like do things in life with those really, really long nails. I don't know how they do that.
I mean, I have to show you a picture, y'all. When I had my son, my nails were literally this long and they were mine. Mm-hmm. Now 2 of them broke, so they was looking crazy, but they were so long when my nails and my hair, because of the prenatals, were out of control. Mm-hmm. They were out of control, but I walked so much during my pregnancy. I walked. I think I did step aerobics with D and Mariah a little bit, but then with Gracie, it was just walk.
So I taught classes and trained all the way up until the day I went into labor.
You probably didn't gain no weight.
I gained 50 pounds.
Oh yeah.
50. Not 1.5.
Yeah.
50.
I was probably way over.
No, I gained it, but I ate what I wanted.
I was an Oompa Loompa.
Yeah, but it comes back off. It comes back off. So
I will tell anybody, when you're pregnant, that is the time to eat whatever you want, act like a princess, sleep whenever you want. Don't be like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna eat. If you want a steak, eat a steak. If you want whatever you want, eat it, because you're not gonna be like that forever.
Well, also listen to your body, because your body will tell you what it wants. It does that anyway. But when you're pregnant, I feel like your body's like, I craved Rocky Road ice cream. I do not even like chocolate ice cream.
Oh my God. I ate carrot cake and Marlowe's French fries every single day of my life. And that's probably why Gracie can't do peanuts, because I ate a piece of carrot cake every day. Like, I stuffed it down my throat. I was like, I loved it.
Is there anything that, okay, we're going to do like by stages. Is there anything that you would, like, looking back now, I haven't had 3 children, raised 3 amazing kids. Like, is there anything while you were pregnant you would have, like, you'd be like, I would do that differently now, or after the babies were born, you would do differently?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think so for me either. I got all the books.
I mean, the only thing I probably would have been did different is I probably would have been married. But other than that, right. No, I probably.
But you still had support.
Oh yeah, I did have support. But other than that, just for it to be an example for my children, I would have been married. But I've got 3 amazing kids, and I'm not married and still haven't been married, but it's all good. But if it was anything I would have done differently, no. But I had my grandma Snooks. You could call her and ask her about anything with a baby, teething, like the baby won't sleep, anything with me, anything with that baby. And she was like, honey, put on a girdle, get yourself back together. Oh yeah, she told me to wear a girdle, and I did, which they would call a Spanx right now. But I did, to pull my body back, to get my body back tight. I mean, if you're looking at Korean baddies, they're wearing girdles. Their mamas was probably telling them after them babies, you wear girdles. But people in other countries celebrate birth a lot different than we do. They allow the woman to take 30 days for their bodies to heal.
Yeah, but longer.
Yeah, and not do certain things. And it's like honorable to have a baby in a lot of other countries. Like here, we're still working on childcare.
We are still working on childcare. I got all the books. Like, I had the what to know, expect when you're expecting. I had that book, but then I bought like all these different books on vaccines, because I wanted to know about all the different vaccines. So I read books on that. I read books on natural remedies, for all the things. I got those books. And
I had the Herbal Bible. Yeah.
I was all into that. And so did you know you were going to do an epidural? Were you like, yeah, I'm definitely getting an epidural?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I knew immediately with every child. I was like, if you think I'm doing this natural, you wrong.
See, like, that wasn't me.
Not at all. I've never had the desire to. When my niece had her baby, my girls were at the hospital, and they looked at me and they were like, you did this 3 times? Like, what were you thinking? And I'm like, oh yeah, I did. But now with your epidural, you can just keep it going.
Oh, wow.
For me, mine wore off and they had to come do it again.
Oh, wow.
But now they put it in you and you just click the button. It's like, what? This is like heaven. Like, this is the best thing ever. Like, no, I didn't have that.
No, I went in there and I was like, I'm not having an epidural. I'm not doing any medication. I'm not doing any of those things. That was me. I was like, I'm doing a natural childbirth. Like, that's what I was thinking I was going to do. But my labor with my first was bananas. And I was in labor with her for 21 hours. And by hour 11, my husband at the time, he was like, please let them give you something. And I was like, no, I'm going to do this. And then I was like, okay, just like, what's a little something that I can have?
Oh, girl. No, that never crossed my mind. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I never had the desire to have natural childbirth, like ever. I didn't, when you're young, because I was young when I had my son, you don't really know what to expect, but you're in the best shape of your life. So you're like, hey, I got this. And I was, and I just had a baby, and then the baby came. And I just remember that my son he basically grew up with me.
Right.
He would go to Houston's restaurant. Y'all know what Houston's is. Shout out. He would spill his drink every time we went. every single time we went, D would spill his drink. I mean, to the point they knew us. They were like, "It's okay, hi D." Like they knew him. Like he would spill his drink all over the table every single time we went. But I was so young. You know, my sisters always say D's been around forever. You know, I graduated from college with him in my belly, and still wore my high heels. I still wore my high heels.
I wore high heels the whole time I was pregnant too. I did that too.
But I tried to always like be a fashionable pregnant person.
Me
like
too.
At my baby shower with Gracie, I think I had on 7 jeans, like the maternity kind. And I just, I was just like, okay, I'm pregnant. I didn't sleep much with Gracie. With Mariah, I just still worked out and did what I needed to do. I didn't have a bad pregnancy ever. I just could not sleep with Gracie.
Yeah, my mom says how much she enjoyed being pregnant.
Yeah, no.
And I can say that I enjoyed that I was having a baby, but the being pregnant it's challenging. Like when you can't sleep, I had to put a pillow under my belly. You know, it was cool like when they started moving initially. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I can't wait to hear them say mom or mommy. And now,
oh my God, you sound like a fairy tale.
I was
like,
that. I couldn't wait.
I was like, they gonna say mama when they're gonna say mama.
I couldn't wait to hear them say mom.
I just loved my babies. Like I just was like, I love my babies. I took my babies everywhere. Me and my babies did everything. I don't. It's crazy for me to say this, and I'm sure so many women understand. I don't remember a time really without my babies.
Same.
I mean, I don't remember a time not having to pack up 17,000 things and get stuff and do stuff and grab this and get this and do shoes. I don't remember a time not doing that. And it's crazy because when I look at your kids and I'm like, dang, they have grown up. They're going to college.
I know.
Right? So I would tell young mothers, enjoy the time while you have it. Right? Don't rush it. Enjoy it.
Yeah, don't rush it. Don't let anything spoil the special moments with your children. Even when you go to the restaurant, they spill it every single time.
Oh my God,
like
that's he just spilled it.
That's just like a memory,
every minute,
you know. And it's like it doesn't, in the grand scheme of things, the little things like that, it's memories. It doesn't even really matter.
I was thinking like when my kids come home, and now that my kids are at the age where they're gonna have kids, and you know they have people in their lives and significant others. I was thinking, because they grew up in our house, what are the stories they tell other people when I'm not around about their childhood and how they grew up? Like, what are they saying? Like, I remember one of these friends came over one time and he was like, yeah, I remember this house like this. I was like, well, I did some stuff. Like the house don't look the same. I'm like, I have remodeled. I mean, it's their childhood home. And I thought to myself, I was like, you know, I'm writing the book of life for them. What is it that they're going to tell their friends about adults, how they grew up as adults?
Yeah.
What is it that they remember? Do they remember me decorating for Halloween? Do they remember the turkey bacon cooking in the kitchen? Do they remember, you know, when I first learned how to cook? What are some of the things that they're going to remember as a child? Like I thought, I wonder if Dee, and I know Dee does, and Mariah remember when Gracie came home. And I wonder if Dee remembers when Mariah came home.
So what was that like for them when, because I have a story about my oldest daughter and I brought my youngest home, but what was it like for you, like when you brought Mariah home or when you brought Gracie home? Like how did Dee and Mariah, because they have but their age difference is, you know, pretty significant, but like how did they respond to like a new sibling coming into the house? Was it easy or was it like?
Yeah, Dee is a protector. He is still a protector.
Like that to
he
this
is
day.
Still a protector.
Yes.
He is still a what's up, Mariah? What's going on, Mariah? Right. What's happening right? Gracie, what do you need? What do you need, Gracie?
Right.
He's still like that. He's still very, very loving and kind to them. It was a big deal for me to make sure my kids stay close because they are far apart in age. I wanted them to be, you know, to have a relationship even without me. To be able to call each other and be like, hey, what's going on here? What's happening here? What are you doing here? And they do that. Like they'll be talking about the games or talking about, you know, having a cookout or doing whatever. And I remember when Gracie was born, she didn't get to come home with us. She didn't get to come with me right away. And Dee stood outside of I think it was the NICU.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know this story.
With Gracie. Yeah, he stood outside of the NICU with Gracie the whole time. He never moved. Oh. He never moved. And
his character.
Mariah, and I just still remember little Raya and Dee, running around with her two poofs. And she's just like, running around like little Miss Fancy. And that's what we would call her. I remember all that. And I think about having a grandbaby now and adding to the family, and how I still have stuff saved for them. I have the American Girl dolls. Mm-hmm. I was just, telling my daughter-in-law, we got the Party Barn kitchen. I mean, it's just like so many things. I had the Bugaboo stroller for Gracie to play with her dolls. I just had it in the basement when all the kids came over and they would play. It was just like little tykes down there. It was like a little wonderland down there for all the kids. And now I'm ready to do it for my niece, who's going to be 1 in, I think, May.
Wow, that went fast.
That went so fast. Wow. And then I'll be doing it for my grandkids. But I don't want a special name. I'm grandma. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to wear that title proud.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I'm going to be like, I'm good.
I've seen like some just kind of looking online, like some of the kids, how they just kind of like don't want to accept the sibling, like the new child, the new baby when it's born. They're just like, who is that? What did you do, mommy? And like being really upset. And they're close in age. So I guess toddler with the newborn, that's kind of where that happens. And for my girls, they're about 2.5 years apart. So when I brought Kay home, my oldest kind of was like, first of all, when we're going to the hospital, when I'm in labor, and I was just like, obviously labor is very painful. You can't describe the pain of labor. I don't even know how to explain it to anyone. Like there's just no description. No. But I was just like, I keep
trying to tell them they can't TikTok labor. There's no Instagram that is going to show you. You can't even take pictures in there now. They can't have pictures in there, cameras in there, or anything when they're doing their.
Well, she told me on the way, because I'm like, oh, she's like, mommy, calm down. I was like, this little 2-year-old just told me to calm down. Mm-hmm. I can't even breathe. Mm-hmm. But then after Kay was born, she loved her sister. She would hold her because she was only like 2 at the time. But she definitely was acting out. Like she would go pull the blinds. She would try and run outside, and like, she would do stuff like that.
A really good friend of Dee's, Chuck and Emily, the best little family, and our little baby Gia. She has a new little baby brother, and she's like that. Mm-hmm. Like she's stuck to her mom like glue. Mm-hmm. Like she is just like, and Emily is just the sweetest person. They're like, okay, she's just got to go through it. She's just got to know that he's not going anywhere. Like he's staying. And I think that because she was just baby Gia for so long, and they do everything with their kids. They travel with their kids. They take their kids everywhere. But Gia has to understand, her little brother's here to stay. He's not leaving.
Yeah. And give little responsibilities to help. So they're like,
included, she does.
Like stuff like that. And be really specific. Like don't just say like, be nice, but be like gentle hands and like show them how to do it and things like that. So they feel included.
I probably would have been like gentle hands. I'm like, Dee, Mariah, like stop, get her, But my kids were never, I don't really remember. I was very strict at bedtime.
I was too.
My kids went to bed early.
Absolutely.
Like with the chickens. Like they went to bed early, and I meant it. Like
don't let it be daylight savings time, because they still went to bed.
Gracie got away with more than anybody, because Gracie was an athlete. She was playing her sport since she was young at a very, very high level. So she was up later than half the kids because she had to do homework. But I was very strict with like, hey, it's 7:30. Let's get ready.
Mine were in bed at 7:30.
Yeah, let's get ready. We're taking that bath. We're going down.
Yeah, they were
like,
in bed
we're
at
going down. We're not, that's non-negotiable. And also, I know this sounds really crazy, but I bathe my baby in the kitchen sink. That's very old school. I know. Don't eat me up. I don't even care if you eat me up. Grandma was like, put that tub, if you can't put the tub over the sink, put that baby in that sink, hold on to that baby and watch that baby. And I did. I mean, I didn't put my baby in the bathtub and bend down over the tub for the longest. Mm-hmm. I would wash her over I had like a baby bathtub that went over the
that's
sink.
What I had.
Yeah,
I had the one where they were little, and then when they got bigger.
Yes, and then you just put them over the sink and you clean them up.
I did in the bathroom though. I did in the bathroom,
and I used that lavender. I mean, I'm sure yours was all natural. I'm sure yours was all natural.
It was.
I'm kind of like Michelle Obama on that. Like Michelle Obama was like, I had to buy the Gerber baby food and pull out the jar. I did too. Like my niece is praying the food and making organic homemade baby. I made their baby food. I love her, and she's the bomb. I'm not doing that.
I made their baby food, but it's easy to do. Like, it's not hard to do. And I would buy like an avocado and mash it.
I think I grew up on Gerber, and I'm just fine.
I love Gerber baby food. I remember being in elementary school wanting the banana Gerber baby food.
Mm-hmm. I was like, let me open up my whole pantry was like, name a fruit.
Yeah, no,
name a green bean.
I made their, I had a food processor and I made
now
their food.
A lot of people, you can't give baby water for a certain age.
Right.
But a lot of people don't do cereal. They're not they're waiting on cereal. I was like,
what kind of cereal? The baby cereal?
Yeah, they don't put cereal in the milk. A lot of mothers don't do that anymore.
They came out saying it just goes back and forth, right? But I remember when my girls were babies.
Well, I hope they ain't listening to the man that's saying it now.
That. Well,
because he won't even give you a measles immunization.
Oh. I mean, I'm all for natural, don't get me wrong, but there are just some things that are just like...
And you get an immunization for the measles.
Yeah.
The measles and the mumps.
There are some things you just gotta
get immunized. Do you remember your kids having the mumps or the measles with the calamine lotion all over?
I remember the measles.
I still have a picture of D. He looked like a little polka dot. We had that lotion all over him. He was just running around looking crazy. Yeah, it was the chicken pox. That's what it was. It was the chicken pox. Yep. And we would put calamine lotion on them when they had chicken pox. I was like, the doctor tell me now, give them measles, mumps, and rubella. Is that what it is? Rubella? Mm-hmm. Give it to them. Because I was not dealing with no measles. D was my only one.
MMR. That's the name.
MMR. Mm-hmm. D was my only one. And I will never forget when he had the chicken pox. I have a picture of him on the bed. And I'm like, oh, D. And then you remember the chicken pox will give you you keep one. You keep a little rash. You keep a little mark.
There's this girl that I went to high school with. She had chickenpox so bad, and it was all over her face, and the scars stayed on her face. She must have picked them.
And y'all don't want to have an immunization.
That's probably what happened.
Yeah, that's not about to happen. Not to my babies or my grandbabies. I'm not doing that.
So when we're looking at different equipment now, like baby equipment, I guess equipment's the word. I can't think of the right word right now. But so I had the pump. Did you pump?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They got electronic pumps. My niece will be pumping driving down the street. I can hear it.
No, that's what I did. I did the same thing.
I could still hear it.
But I saw one now that's like a portable pump. Like it's battery charged. You just like
she was driving down the street.
So that's how mine was. That's how mine was. But no, I saw where you just stick them.
Yes, and it pumps
with the bottles.
And it pumps. Yes,
both at the same time.
Technology is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Technology is amazing. I would pump driving down the street.
Okay,
too.
I've got a question. Since, everybody has a Tesla that can drive you, would you let a robot babysit your baby?
No.
I would not either.
No.
I would not either. Remember, doesn't it seem like the Jetsons? Remember the Jetsons? The cartoon, the Jetsons?
Yeah.
And they would come in the house and the robot was like bringing them their snack and bringing them their food. I'm not there yet. Mm-hmm. I know AI is taking over, but I'm not there yet.
I mean, I'm sitting here thinking about people in the grocery store with their kid on a tablet or something. That's kind of like their babysitter, but no, like an actual robot taking care of my kid and feeding them. And I don't think so.
Because you have to think that's coming. I mean, for some parents, that's coming.
What was her name? What was her name in the Jetsons?
I know the boy was Elroy.
Elroy. That boy Elroy.
Yeah, he was Elroy.
Judy.
Yeah. Yes.
But what was
we gotta show y'all. We're gonna put a Jetsons clip on this so they can see it. Oh, the Jetsons are. But
what was the maid's name? The housekeeper.
I cannot remember her name. But anyway,
yeah.
Well, I while we're talking about babies and daughters and kids, and this is totally off the subject, and I do that. It's probably my ADD or ADHD, whatever. Can we talk about the kids in Houston?
Okay, we're going to talk about that, but I don't know if that's real.
You don't know if Houston spring break is real?
Well, I know Houston spring break is real, but I thought they were comparing numbers from like 2025 numbers. Okay, tell the story. Tell the
I
story.
just
so the
skipped
people
all
know the
into
story.
it because I'm thinking about babies and how mothers should be raising their babies. And them babies,
Okay.
because
Okay.
they're still babies to me. Those babies in Houston on spring break, and they came out with the number of STDs these people have and came home with in one weekend of spring break in Houston, having sex in the cars. What I don't think, since we're talking about babies, what I don't think people realize is, especially in the state of Texas, you cannot have an abortion.
No.
You cannot have an abortion.
But respect
so
your body. Like,
there,
respect
if
your body.
If you leave there while we're talking about babies, if you leave that state after you partied that hard for spring break and you have become with child with one of them, I don't know what you call it, we call it hookup or whatever.
Random. Isn't it
You're
random?
having a
Isn't
baby.
It a random? Yeah.
You're having a baby. Like, you're going to be,
if you live in
you
Texas,
need to be watching this show. If you live in a lot of states, you're having a baby. They just arrested a girl here in Georgia for taking the abortion pill.
After.
Mm-hmm. And they're trying to charge her for murder.
Wow.
So I'm just saying all that to say this while we're on the topic of babies.
So ironic.
Babies, because you guys are still babies. But if you're 25 and you're still going to spring break acting a fool, then I can't help you. But what I will say is, I hope while y'all doing that, y'all gloving up. Absolutely. Because this administration is not allowing abortions. You got to go to a certain place to get abortion in this day and age. So just be prepared. If you popping off, be prepared to watch this show so you can find out all the new mother trends, because you're going to have a baby. I mean,
I'm just not like a grandma, but I'm just like, respect your body. Like, just.
I didn't see much respectful.
It's not worth it. Okay, yeah. So what about if you? This isn't not quite in line with it, but it is like having babies. So if you have a baby, you have a baby with a guy, right? And then you guys are not together, and then he gets married, and then he's having a baby with his new wife. What is the interaction between the child you have with him and his new wife? Like, does the child that you guys have together, does he go to the birth of the new baby? Do they go to the baby shower? Like, how would you feel comfortable integrating?
I think, first of all, again, it's not the baby's fault.
Mm-hmm.
I think the tone is set from the parents' relationship in the beginning. At some point, somebody got to let go, right? And I don't think that the children should be collateral damage with their siblings because of the parents. I don't think that. I have not dealt with that situation personally. If everybody is getting along and my kids are comfortable with the wife or the new mother, it depends on, like, if you have a court order for visitation or whatever, then I'm fine with that. But in my relationship, we just really never introduced anybody to our kids that I know of. Like, right?
Same.
That I know of. Like, I mean, I might not know. Like, right? I may not know.
Well,
I mean, I'm sure it's happened a couple times when they were older, but when they were younger, I don't really remember that. But I don't think it's a bad thing, because I think that if you have gotten married and you're moving on and you want to have a family unit, the child needs to know their brothers and sisters.
But does it matter then if the type of relationship your ex has? Like, if it's a wife, it's okay. But if it's somebody he's just dating, I mean, it really doesn't even matter still, because it's still a baby. Like, they're still going to be siblings.
They're still going to be siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've used this word before, trifling. If you don't trust, if your gut says no, and you don't trust that woman, and you don't know that woman, and you haven't been around that woman, I'm kind of like, well, no, my child ain't gonna be up in there. Like, if it's some chick that, we don't know what's popping off at her house, and I don't know where she lives, I need an address.
Right.
I need a phone number. I want to know who's watching my child. And that's fair for any mother. Any mother should know who's watching her child. And if the mother isn't comfortable with the woman, then that's a conversation the mom and the dad need to have, because, I mean, I'm from Indiana, so I'm like, I'll be done ran up in your house, like, and got my child. So I'm just different. You know, I'm just different. But again, I haven't been introduced to that. It wasn't until my kids were, that I knew of, again, older, that they were around anybody their dad was dating. And it was probably kind of weird for them, and I'm sure it was weird for her. But as for me, if the kids were younger, I would want to know the woman.
Right.
When the kids are older, it just doesn't matter to
me. They had this, I don't know if it was real, but it was on Instagram, and it was a scenario where the mother was coming to drop the baby off with the father, but the father sent his girlfriend to get the baby. It was like, he was like probably maybe 3 or 4 years old.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Right?
I saw that.
And then the mother is like, no, you're not taking my son. And she's like, well, whatever his name, Joe, we'll call him. He had to work, and he sent me to, take him, whatever. And then she's like, no, you're not taking him. And then the dad comes, leaves work, comes.
But let's be realistic about this. And this is just coming from a different point. You know, men, when you're a woman and you're raising a son, and you're a single mother, that son needs to have respect for you. Because once a man loses respect for a woman, it's gone. I mean, you're going to be working for the rest of your life to get it back. It's gone. So little boys view their mom as, that's my mom, right? I was looking at this guy, I can't remember who he was, and he was talking about how sons of single mothers sometimes resent their mothers. And I completely disagree with that clip.
Why though? Did it say why? And
he's saying because they don't have a father figure in their life. And I mean, this guy's pretty influential, and he talks about building the generation of Black men and building our men back up. But I disagree with that statement as a mother who raised my son. I think that little boys who are with single mothers have a lot of admiration for their mother, depending on how the mother was, depending on how the mother raised them. So if you raise your son with men running in and out, and every week it's like, hey, meet my boyfriend Louie. Hey, meet my boyfriend Harris. Hey, meet my boyfriend Tom. Well, shit. Don't nobody respect that. Because mothers, you have to understand, whatever you do outside of your house. You don't need to bring that home. Mm-hmm. And men, just because you have a new girlfriend and you're just happy as a lock for that week or that 2 weeks or maybe that 6 weeks, doesn't mean that girl needs to meet your kids. Everybody doesn't need to meet your kids, because you're not going to stay with everybody. You're not going to be with everybody. And sometimes, in my point of view, I don't even care if you marry that person. I still may not ever meet them or ever want to meet them, because sometimes we don't know what's best for us. Like, you know how you're just like, oh, I got a new girlfriend. I love her. It's on. We popping for 6 weeks. And then when you break up, your kids are going to be like, oh, where's Dina? Mm-hmm. Where's Miss Dina? Mm-hmm. And then, oh, me and Dina broke up, but here comes Linda. What? Like, that's stupid. And kids, I think that little boys will lose respect for their moms if that happens. I think little girls, it's not sending them the right message. So if you're going to introduce your child to your significant other, make sure they're significant. Like, make sure they put some time in. Like, make sure they're not.
Yeah. Well, some of the comments in this particular situation, they were like, the mom is right. The mom is right, not letting the son go with the girlfriend. And at the end of the clip, like, the dad comes, he gets the son, and then he steps over to the girlfriend. He's like, just meet me around the corner and I'll give him to you so you can take him. Because he's like, I got to go back to work. Because at that point,
it's out of the mother's control. But
look at the lesson, what you're teaching the son. But all he had to do was, I mean, I can see different sides of the story, right? I get that. But as a father, like, call the mom and be straight up and say, hey, it probably wasn't going to fly, but at least she would have been honest. She would have been like, hey, I'm working. I'm not going to be able to, I'm going to send my girlfriend, or let's work out something different.
And
don't
tell me half the story.
Right. Don't be
to
sneaky.
me, that's a half the story. You giving me half the story. Like, I'm already here now waiting on you, and you giving me half the story. I probably wouldn't have let my daughter go with the girl.
Right. And everybody's looking at her like the mom, like she's wrong. And the mom's not wrong, because that mom is with that child most of the time. She's protecting that child.
And another thing that people need to understand when they're having babies and they're introducing people to new babies. Baby, he is not going to treat you any different than he treated that first baby mama. You like your stuff ain't gold, and he ain't like locked in. Babies change things. And if you're dating a man and he doesn't respect the baby mama, and it's always the baby mama's bad, and it's always whatever, try to do things for your baby's mother. Try to send her flowers for Mother's Day. Try to, make sure she's straight. Try to like look out for them as a unit. And when you move on to the next relationship, your significant other should respect that. She should welcome that. She should be like, he's a good dad. Like, he's a really good dad. He's a great provider. Like, she don't really have to like her, but they should be able to respect one another.
Yeah, I don't think there are many women out there who are dating a guy who has children is going to be like, oh, he's a great dad because he sends the mother of my children flowers. Like, I don't think there are women that are going to think that. I think they're going to be like, why is he sending her flowers? Like, that's weird. Unless he has a conversation with her.
I think that he should send her flowers on Mother's Day.
I'm not saying he shouldn't.
Yeah, I do. I get your point.
I'm not saying he shouldn't, but I'm saying,
but she's saying, why are you still sending that bitch flowers?
Exactly.
Right. Well, here's why my baby daddy's still sending me flowers, because I raised his children.
Exactly. But
because
that's the
I sacrificed mine to make sure he had his. And I gave up a whole lot of things in my life to make sure he kept his life moving and he kept his career going because he provided for us. So in that case, they probably didn't like it. And I'm happy that he was like, well, this is what we're going to do anyway.
Right.
But I'm the mother of his kids.
Yes. And that's what he would need to articulate that.
Basically, I took care of his kids' home base. There was nothing in my house that them kids didn't want, didn't have. It was clean. It was presentable. It was nice.
And you were present.
I was present.
Yeah.
It wasn't no, men running in and out. Not to say that I didn't date, because I did. But I handled my business in a motherly fashion.
Yeah.
I think that's why and I'm sure that people did and do question that about us.
Absolutely.
There were times my kids questioned that about us. And it was just an unwritten rule that I was going to take care of my kids and take my, I used to always say, well, you ready to trade in your suits for my stilettos as I'm pushing a stroller, right? Or I'm going to a practice, or I got one baby on a hip with a blanket down here while my son's playing basketball. I feel like a shout out to the mothers that are the CEOs of their household, because that's what I was. I was running my house, and I dare another woman tell me how to run my house. That's why I'm saying it's better. Be upfront. Get the babies out in the open. Talk to each other. Tell the baby mama, hey, I'm at work. My girlfriend's picking up the kids.
That's right.
Because this is how your baby eats, and this is how my baby eats, and this is what's happening. And I'm sorry. But if she already knew that girl, and the mother and the girlfriend had a relationship, that would be okay.
Right. Exactly.
That would be okay.
Yeah, the communication is key. And it may not always work out the way he wants. The mother may have been like, no, you need to work it out, or I'll meet you later when you get off work. There are so many other ways that scenario could have gone. It didn't have to be right. It didn't have to be drama.
No.
It didn't have to be drama.
It doesn't ever have to be drama. Make a plan. Make a plan. Give the mother of your kids time, just like she gives you time. especially if the kids live with the mom. Give her some time to breathe. Let her, let her unwind and let her have a vacation. Let her kick back with her girls. Because when you have a baby, you're on lock. And when that mother has a baby for like that first year, she is on lock.
I think that's where things start to unravel in some marriages and some relationships, because once the baby's born and the baby's there, the responsibility, so much of it is the mom's responsibility, where, the dad isn't, and I'm not saying all dads are this way, but there are a lot that are like, the baby's waking up, the mom gets up. The baby's crying, the mom gets up. The baby needs to be changed, the mom does it, and the responsibility isn't shared. And that just unravels the marriage or the relationship, because you feel alone.
You are alone.
You feel alone.
You are alone. And that can sink you into postpartum depression. And that can sink you into a place where you just, sometimes you want to go in a room where it's quiet and scream and just be like,
or you push everybody away and just take, because that was me. I'm just like, well, I'll just do it myself.
Oh, we all, I think at some point we all did that. We were all like, I can do it myself. I can do it myself. I can do it myself. But we got a generation of people right now that can we multitask? Like some of these people can't multitask. Like they weren't taught how to multitask, right? So, welcome to the pickup line, because this is a safe space for moms, single moms, women. We do not hate men, but we are going to tell men the best way to show your wife you love her, or your baby's mama that you love her, or if you ain't with your baby's mama, get along with her, appreciate her, tell her thank you, do what you need to do. I don't care if you don't have a lot of money. Send Chick-fil-A one day so she doesn't have to make lunch. Do something, because we have to get back to women and men loving and taking care of each other. Not just a hookup, not just a pop off, not just a DM. Like when we start talking about we're having babies, we're talking about real live people. We're not talking about I just got a new dog. I got a new human being.
Yeah. And what we're talking about here is we're talking about doing those things you mentioned for the children. Like, you're sending flowers to the mother because that's a great representation. You're being a great role model for your child. That's why we're saying those things.
One of the best ways,
the child, that's what matters.
One of the best ways you can show your child that you love them is by showing your child how to appreciate their mother, how to respect their mother, how to love their mother, how to be obedient with their mother, how to pick up their shit off the floor, how to not talk back to their mother.
Yeah.
Step in and make sure that child respects the mother. And the mother should make sure that child respects the father.
The thing to remember is that the child is 50-50 part the mom and the dad, right? And the thing that happens with children is that people are going to say, oh my gosh, you remind me so much of your mom, right? Or you remind me so much of your dad. And if that mom or dad hasn't been respected or treated in a way that's kind or spoken about in that way, the child can internalize that, like, oh my gosh, I'm like my mom. Does that mean, I complain all the time, or I'm a gold digger, or I'm like my dad, I'm lazy, or I look like my dad? You know what I mean? Like, because they're little. And that's as easy. That's
how they're identifying themselves.
That's it.
It's not deep. I saw a clip, and the guy was saying, parents, if your child isn't talking to you, if your child isn't around you, if your child is acting like they don't want to be a part of you, you have to remember that when children become adults, they're not the same person they were when they were 6. So what parents have to understand is you have to know a child through each phase of their life. So if you've moved on with your life and had a new wife or a new woman and you're having a new baby, were you still checking on your other baby? Were you still checking on that baby that you had with the other mother that you divorced, that you may not like, that you may think is whatever, or that you have, there's 2 sides to every story, and then there's the truth. So there's Mari's side, there's Dina's side, and then there's whoever's side. And when people enter into other relationships, and they start bringing kids in and they're having new babies, there needs to be some conversations, because not everybody's telling the authentic truth, right? Some people sugarcoating, some people like, it happens. But parents, they wonder why their kids aren't talking to them and what's happening and what's going on. It's because when you were 12 and you introduced her to that baby and she felt that kind of way, you didn't take time to figure that out. So now that she's 20 and she quit talking to you, so between 12 and 20, she start feeling some type of way. You never went to her and asked her, how does she feel? You never went to her to try to fix those emotions that she had. So she or he carried that along with them forever. And now they're grown and they're resentful. And now they're grown and they're like, well, Mom, I don't care if you ever tell me to talk to him again. I'm not. Like, now they're grown and they make choices. So parents have to get to know their kids in every phase of their life, because my son's not the same little D he was when he was little. Mm-hmm. Mariah is like, hey, Mom, yeah, I'm working till 6. And I'm like, okay. And Gracie's like, don't talk to me like I'm stupid. And I'm like, I'm not. But you got to get to know your children through the different phases of their lives.
And that requires you to spend time with them, mm-hmm. intentional time, as busy as we may be, even if they still live with you. It's like the car ride with just the one, connecting with that one and trying to have a conversation and just letting them talk when they're ready to talk. Mm-hmm. You just have to be open to it.
Rick Warren, I think his name is Rick Warren.
The pastor who did
he Purpose-Driven Life. Mm-hmm. He wrote The Purpose-Driven Life, and in The Purpose-Driven Life, I read that when I was probably in college.
And Prayer Jabez, right? Did you write Prayer Jabez too?
Yes. Mm-hmm. There's a section in The Purpose-Driven Life on time. And he talks about how time waits for no one. When you're a kid, you remember having a bologna, cheese, and mayonnaise sandwich. You remember making cinnamon toast. You remember how many times your mother said she loved you. You remember how many times your father hugged you. And when you grow up and you never got that hug from your father, as a little girl or a little boy, a little girl feels like she's going to be looking for love probably in all the wrong places. And a little boy has resentment. This man didn't like me. Like, you ain't like me. You don't want to fool with me. I ain't going to fool with you. So then what we're doing is we're not fixing the problem. And it's not about the money. It's not about support. It's not about, you can't move on and go think you're going to have a second family when you failed at the first family. Because guess what God's going to do? He's going to bring you that same lesson back to that second family. And it may not seem like it in the honeymoon stage. It might be like, oh yeah, we got it. But trust me, the pendulum always swings.
Yeah, healing is a requirement.
Yes.
Healing is a requirement.
And getting to know your kids through whatever phase of their life they're in. When they went through their braces phase, you're like, oh yeah, let's fix your braces, let's get your teeth. When they went through their acne stage, when they went through their first breakup, mm-hmm. And when they become adults, what you did when they were little is so embedded in them. You have to take time to have a conversation with them. But if you're springing new babies on them and they see you treating the new baby better than you treated the old baby, what you think's going to happen? Mm-hmm. That's like adding math, 2 and 2. You know it's 4.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen? Do you think that your daughter's going to be like, oh yeah, he loved me like that too? No. Or your son's going to be like, oh yeah. Kids carry the things with them. And if you want them to forgive you and not to be parents that the kids have just totally alienated and they're not in their lives anymore, then you've got to put in some work.
Yeah, I think it's okay, parents, to know that you can reconcile with your children. It's okay if you make a mistake to let your children know you made a mistake. It's never too late to have that conversation. Mm-hmm. And it's a part of healing for yourself and for your kids. So I know we went from baby to all that.
No, but we're saying this because of the babies, because when you have a new baby, if you think I'm going to have this new baby and I'm going to fix it this time, I'm going to fix this time. So I messed up with that baby. I messed up with my first wife. I'm going to fix it on my second wife. If you don't fix yourself, you can't fix the issue.
Right.
So if you're running around trying to, like, yeah, we here. No, you have to fix yourself, because sooner or later that same self is going to come out with the second wife, and the second baby, and the second stroller ride, and the second car seat. Like, somebody still got to help you pump. Somebody still got to help you bathe the baby. Somebody still got to put the car seat in the car. Somebody still got to help you with the groceries when you're bringing the baby in the house.
All the baby checkups.
Right?
Yeah.
Somebody got to help. Somebody got to go to the doctor with the baby when the baby's sick. If you didn't succeed on the first time, and you just gonna move on and band-aid the first one and go to the second one,
not gonna work.
No, because you're gonna get a knock on the door, and it's gonna be karma, and she's coming for you. I have a question. Since we talking about Houston, we're talking about babies.
I didn't know there were all those videos and stuff like that you were talking about. I didn't realize it was.
Oh, it's like Sodom and Gomorrah over there. Like, yeah, it's a lot of videos. But okay, so we're talking about babies, and we're talking about abortions, and we're talking about what to do and not to do.
Don't get pregnant by someone who's married.
I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little disappointed.
A lot disappointed
that Lotto's pregnant. She's beautiful, at the top of her game. And if I could just, they say statistically, girls that have aunties, their confidence is up like 23%, because aunties don't play about their nieces.
And they say what moms won't say.
If I was her auntie, I would have said to her, sweetie, God is never, and I want you to put this in caps on this, God is never going to give you somebody else's husband.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about that this morning, because I was thinking how we were talking about prenups, like one of our other shows.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, marriage, and people may not look at it this way, but marriage is a covenant. It's not a contract.
And if you look biblically, you're still married to your first wife.
Exactly.
Your first wife doesn't leave. You are still married to that first wife.
Right.
No matter what you do.
Yeah, I was thinking about that this morning. So,
but to
your point, yes.
My point is, we're talking about babies, but so how are we going to intertwine this? Like, Lotto, are you going to just walk over to 21 Savage's house with the wife and the kids and be like, hey, here's the baby? Like, that's what I meant when I said earlier, if the situation isn't messy. Because how does his wife feel?
And how do you explain that to the children that they already have? Like, who is this woman that's pregnant with my dad's, like, that's my brother or sister with her?
And a lot of her lyrics was basically because she wasn't pregnant with, she wasn't a pop off. She wasn't
really disappointing.
And people, I'm not saying the baby's a mistake. The baby's here. God loves all the babies, like, right? But I'm saying, could there have been a better choice? Could you have thought about this? Like, could you have thought, this man has a whole family? Is he telling you that you the one? But what we gonna have, a harem? Are we gonna be Neo? Like, what are we doing?
Right.
What are we doing, society? What are we doing in a whole to our men and women? And more importantly, what are we doing to our children?
Everybody's doing whatever they want.
So these kids are going to have an issue with that kid, because, already this mama they're probably already hearing her upset about this woman having that baby. And it's like, it's almost like you just going to go show the world, yeah, I did it. I got it. I'm happy. Yeah, I love my man. He loved me. He's somebody's husband. That is somebody's whole husband. That ain't a baby daddy. Because I would tell my kids, you're either married or you're not. You're either married or you're not. You can play house all day, or you do anything you want to. You're either married or you're not.
That's real.
And when you are married, God is not going to offer you up somebody else's husband. So it's kind of like, to thy own self be true. Like, I still look at Deion Sanders and Carucci, and I'm like, he's like, I love her. I love her like I ain't never loved nobody. You should. You better. She shouldn't want for nothing. And I have a lot of respect for him. I do. I have a lot of respect for him.
Sure.
But I also have a lot of respect for Tracy Edmonds. But you should. Because what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you setting yourself up to take care of this man? Because that's what you're going to do. If you marry him, you're taking care of him. You are the caregiver.
Are they engaged?
I don't know that they're engaged. I don't know that they're engaged. I just want young women to understand the hand they're dealt. It's like if you're playing a game of spades and you see that hand, you know how to play it. Understand the hand you're dealt.
What is their age? Do you know their age difference?
Deion Sanders and Carucci.
Yeah. I wonder what their age difference is.
He's probably my age or younger. And so she's probably really young. And I get her liking this older, handsome man. And he's probably like, yeah, you know, baby, daddy home. You know, like that whole Lou Rawls voice going back to Barry White. But my mother and my stepfather was a 20-year difference. And they got divorced.
There's just something to be said about that gap. I just feel like that's a big gap. And I feel like there's so many like interesting dynamics that go into like dating someone who's that much older than you.
And she doesn't have children
than you.
She doesn't have children yet. But what I will say, she's 37. She knows exactly what she's doing. She knows exactly what she's doing. So whatever falls on her plate, she got to eat because she knows what she's doing.
Right.
You know, she knows exactly what she's doing. And at 58 with that many health problems, that's a big pill to swallow. Let's think about our choices. Let's think about hey, little Alexander, I just had a baby with a married man. What? Hey, yeah, I never had kids because I was dating a man that was 20 years older than me and I had to take care of him. He became my kid. What? I wish I had a me. I wish I had a me when I was young.
I think if she knows what she's doing, she knows what she's doing, though. You know what I mean? Like you said, at 37, you know what you're doing.
She know what she's doing.
So, you know, people just, those are the choices people make. So
he probably like, you in the wheel. I got you.
She needs to see the paperwork.
She probably says she's seen it. It don't matter. You know, like people see shit all the time and people change it.
That's true.
Right? I mean, when you got resources, you can show me anything.
And when you're not married, you don't have a right to any of it, to see any of it.
No. I said that in the other episode. I'm like, you know, you could be whoever baby mama or whoever's baby daddy. You're not living like the wife's living. Mm-mm. You're not. You're not going to live the same style as the wife.
That's what she needs to keep in mind.
She need to keep working.
Oh yeah, she's gonna have to change her. She has to change her flow.
She got to change that tune. What you say? Scratch off.
She's gonna have to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, she got to switch them lyrics to something else, right?
It's gonna be a little bit different now.
Maybe she should make a lullaby.
Oh my gosh, that's so disappointing though, because she, you know, I don't listen to her music, but I've like done some research and listened to her.
Oh my God, Auntie Reese, my sister, love Lotto. Like, yeah. I mean, I've listened to Lotto.
I've listened to her, but I don't listen to her.
Yeah, it's not like I'm like turning it, but like, no, but I still like Lotto. Like if
but I like her because when I saw her, I was like, she's pretty. She seems like woman empowerment. She seems like confident, like, you know. And now I'm like, womp womp.
But women, we get so far ahead, and then we put ourselves in positions where we move ourselves so far back. You know what I'm saying? Like we get so far ahead, and then there's something that we do, or we make a bad decision, and it just kind of sets us back.
Sabotage.
But one of the things is we got to get back on track. Like we got to get our young girls back on track. We got to get back on track. We got to get back to, you know, I love when Mariah said to me, Mom, I work every day till 6. Okay, I know. Right? But I love that because I love the drive and the determination, and I love the fact that she's on her shit. I love that. And we've got to get our young girls back to that.